Dear pregnant woman, do you know that malaria in pregnancy can cause neonatal jaundice? Yes, you heard me right. Malaria in pregnancy can cause jaundice of the newborn. Hi, lovelies. Welcome to another episode of learning all about jaundice. Today we are going to be learning everything that causes jaundice, especially in the newborn. So one of them is immature liver. As we all learned about how jaundice occurs, especially in children. One of the causes is immature liver. You know that children, they are still tender, they are still small, their body is still maturing and evolving. So this immature liver is not matured enough, to process and excrete bilirubin fast enough. As such, due to this, taking of its time because it's not so matured, it now builds up. It leads to increased bilirubin in the blood, thereby causing jaundice in the newborn. Another one that causes jaundice, another cause of jaundice is high red blood cell breakdown. This is where the pregnant woman comes in. Yes, so let me give you an example. If before pregnancy you require like 30 mosquitoes to bite you before you have malaria, during pregnancy you just need like 10 mosquitoes to bite you before you have malaria. This is to show you that pregnant women are susceptible to malaria while in pregnancy. So with this susceptibility now, this plasmodium, they love red blood cells, so they will now cross the placenta from the mother and now go to the baby, thereby leading to breaking down of red blood cells, so an increase in production of this bilirubin. And remember what we talked about, the liver is not yet matured enough to excrete this bilirubin out, to now lead to build up of bilirubin in the blood, thereby causing jaundice in children. That's why most times most children, they usually have jaundice, especially in their first week of life. Another cause is breastfeeding issues. This is very, very important. You know that as nurses and health workers, we are always advocating for exclusive breastfeeding, especially for the first 6 months of life, because it has all the antibiotics, has all the necessary nutrients, has all the necessary fluid and liquid the baby needs for the first 6 months of life. Now, this breastfeeding, inadequate breastfeeding, or the baby not feeding well, can cause jaundice. If the baby is not feeding well, it can lead to dehydration. This baby is not feeding well. The baby body is not even matured enough to withstand the microorganisms that is being faced with. So if a baby is not feeding well, there will be no antibodies to fight. Another cause of neonatal jaundice is infections. You know that there are various forms of infections. As this baby is coming from a sterile environment, from the womb, that they are swimming in the amniotic fluid, they don't know that where they are coming to has a lot of microorganisms on planet Earth. So when these children are faced with these infections like sepsis, it can affect the liver or increase red blood cell breakdown. So when I mean sepsis, what do I mean? Sepsis are infections that now goes inside the blood. Like, these infections have affected the body, affected the child, right? It now goes into the blood. So these microorganisms are now more inside the blood. Remember, it goes to the liver, thereby it affects the liver, also increasing red blood cell breakdown. So remember, jaundice is all about red blood cell breakdown. Another cause is bruising or bleeding. Bruising or bleeding from birth, especially from a difficult delivery, prolonged labor, can break down red blood cells. There are some children, when they give birth to them, due to either prolonged labor, cephalopelvic disproportion, that is, the head of the baby is not appropriate with the pelvis of the mother, so it's called cephalopelvic disproportion. This prolonged labor, this prolonged time, it can cause cause breakdown of bilirubin. Then another cause is genetic conditions. Yes, there are some children that are born with some genetic disorders, especially one of them is G6PD deficiency. So this makes red blood cells to break down faster. These are red blood cells that are supposed to last 120 days. It lasts less. So these red blood cells are broken faster. What we talked about bilirubin, the part of how it starts. So because these red blood cells are being broken down faster, thereby causing increase in bilirubin, thereby making them to accumulate in the blood. Remember, the baby's liver is not matured well enough to excrete it, thereby causing accumulation of bilirubin in the blood, thereby leading to jaundice. So watch out for the next episode.